Hi, welcome to this unboxing and semi kind of review for the Gloombox, the Gloomhaven wooden insert from Laserox. So I'll get to the unboxing in a second. Just wanted to go through why I've gone for the Laserox product. I knew that when I pre-ordered the Kickstarter back in May that I was going to need something to help me set the game up and get it to the table on a regular basis. I've made my own inserts from foam core in the past to limited good results really, so I knew that that wasn't going to cut the mustard and I was going to have to purchase something from one of the manufacturers. So I had a real good look at Meeple Realty's products, Broken Token, and Daedalus or Daedalus or however you say it, and they all look fantastic, they all look brilliant, but they're just not available in the UK. The demand for this game in terms of inserts is really high at the moment, and Laserox quoted around about 3 weeks for delivery and it actually arrived in 2, so I was really pleased with that. But the other thing is that Laserox are the only company in Europe that's kind of making these en masse as far as I know, and I'd really like to support them, and hopefully they'll start to get bigger and create more inserts and really thrive for the future, just for the just for the sake of variety over here in Europe. So now that's out of the way, let's have an actual look at the product as it arrived. Unfortunately, when I transported it from my work where it was delivered to me on my way home, I accidentally walked with it through the rain, so the outer box was a bit damaged, so I decided not to unbox that, but it was very well packaged. There was airbags inside as well that were protecting the insert from movement in the box and that kind of thing, so I was more than happy with that side of things. But the first thing we're going to look at here is the actual instructions that came inside the package. So as you can see from here, everything's laid out pretty well, it's pretty straightforward. The first few pages are kind of a contents list, and there's a few little notices there. If you notice that, the first thing you can see there is that it tells you specifically that you've got to remove these from the sprues with a Stanley knife or a hobby knife or something like that. So just remember that, what it's told me to do specifically there, the first thing I saw. Anyway, looking through, it's all standard fare for these kind of inserts, how you're going to put them together, what's in the box and all that kind of thing. So what you can see here initially is some of the lids. So each individual box has got its own lid to stop contents from falling out and that kind of thing. They all look pretty nice. So there's a few here, but those aren't linked to any sprues or anything like that in the box. So they come completely separately. Funnily enough, there's 24 individual sprues inside the packet. Okay, little game here now, spot the moron competition. So what you'll see here is that the first thing I did when I opened the insert, it says remove everything with a hobby knife or a Stanley knife. So what do? I have a little twist to test it here. So what I've done is I've actually broken one of the contact points with the sprue. Now I want to say this is 1,000,000% my fault, my moronic choice to do that, and obviously I've caused the damage. So there's a little notice for you. If you're going to buy one of these products, just stick to what it says. So this is me just having a little count up of all the sheets that are in there to get that 24 that I mentioned earlier. So going through all of the sheets individually, there was no damage at all on any single sheet. All of the contact points were intact and there was no damage from undoing them other than the one that I twisted like a moron. Everything looked nice. There's a little slide at the front for one of the token inserts just to give it a nice little look with the Gloombox wording on it. And yeah, overall I'm just really happy with the insert from this perspective. So it's time for me to go away now, knock it up, put it together, and then we'll have a little look at the end. So about 3.5 to 4 hours later, a little bit of frustration, but only on my part. This is what we've ended up with, some really lovely looking boxes, some empty sprues. And so kind of this is it set up on the way that it would fit into the box when I actually received the game. So we'll start by having a look at the monster box. If I pop this lid off here, what you'll see underneath is that there's actually 3 trays. There's 2 long trays that go the length of that particular insert, and then there's 1 additional tray that's inside underneath there. And the reason that removes is because it hides some of the bosses and their individual tokens. So that's the reason for that. Next up, we've got the little Gloombox logo that's on there, and inside there we've got some of the smaller tokens. It also keeps the money, so you can see there's a little 5 there for the fivers and a 1 for the quids. So there's actually 2 little inserts here that hold lots of little tokens. I'm wondering how they're going to work out actually, because one goes upside down inside the other one, so I'm worried about them getting a bit mixed up. But we'll see how that plays out when it actually receives the game. I'll do a follow-up video on all of these things anyway. So next, we've got the XP damage summon tokens and the tracker tokens. So this is the first of the really cool inserts, because there's lots of individual compartments in here. It looks a little bit of a mess, but I'm sure once it's populated with tokens, it will look the business. So yeah, 2 individual trays here. There's a lid that goes on top. That's kind of how most of them work. But yeah, that looks absolutely brilliant. Next up, this is the main big tray where you're going to keep all the character cards and those individual tuck boxes that go in there. So that'll be in there to keep them safe, so you can draw them when you need them. There's nothing in this one. This is the miniatures box, so there's no individual kind of workings within this. Just put the little white boxes straight in there, but it's, again, still looks nice. This is the card tray, so this fits all of the cards for the game. As you can see, there's some dividers in there as well, so large dividers for the large cards and small dividers for the small cards. Okay, last few boxes now. So what we've got here is the map tile boxes. There's 2 of these and they both slide out. Again, standard fare for what you've seen before. Individual compartments within each tray. Everything looks great, everything looks neat and tidy. This is the one for the small map tiles as well, so there's more compartments in here, obviously because they're smaller. But yeah, that also looks great. And finally is the last one. This is the one for all the obstacles and all that kind of thing. Again, you know, looks great. That's a single tray there, there's no secondary follow up to that. But yeah, this is the whole collection really. It was really fun putting it together, and it's a really great insert. And yeah, I'll be doing a review of the game with this insert later on. Now what you will also see is I've got a few other little bits and bobs that I'm going to be adding into the game. So I printed off the FAQ, the scenarios that were released in the second Kickstarter edition, a few little player aids, and I've also gone on the Board Game Geek website and printed off all of the individual dividers for the game as well. So I'll be putting all of them into action as well. So thanks for watching the video. This is the first video I've ever done, so if you like it, please let me know. If you don't, please let me know why. Thanks very much, bye.